All right, welcome back to the deep dive. This is where we really get into the story shaping our world, pulling out the key insights, the facts you might have missed, and those aha moments that help you feel genuinely clued in. Today, we are diving deep into something that, well, it didn't just get people talking, it pretty much broke the internet for a bit. The engagement of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. Okay, let's unpack this because this is more than just your average celebrity news, right? One of the sources we looked at nailed it, calling it English class meets PE class. And I think that mix, that, collision of pop culture and sports is a huge part of why millions were just hooked. We're going to explore why this specific story hits so hard and maybe what it tells us about, well, modern love, fame, and how we all connect online.
What's fascinating here, I think, is exactly that. It goes beyond just the couple. This whole thing became this huge cultural moment almost instantly. It really reflects and maybe even shapes how we process these kinds of romantic narratives now, especially online. It's like a case study in modern storytelling.
Absolutely. And to give you that deep dive perspective, we've gathered, well, quite a range of material. We've got detailed reports on the proposal, analyses of the social media explosion, lots of different public reactions, really focusing on the engagement itself, how it all started, and just the sheer scale of the impact. So our mission for you listening is to pull out the most interesting bits, the stuff that might surprise you, and get to the heart of why this wasn't just news, it was, well, a global phenomenon. Okay, so let's jump right in. The proposal itself, can you picture it? Lee Summit, Missouri. A garden, apparently just filled with pink and white flowers. Travis Kelce, Chiefs superstar, gets down on one knee. And in that moment, apparently the internet just, well, one report said it melt down faster than a Miami ice cream cone in July, which is pretty evocative. Then came the announcement, which, looking back, was just brilliant, really. That joint Instagram post, simple caption, your English teacher and your gym teacher are getting married.
Yeah.
Taylor, obviously the lyrical poet, the storyteller, the English teacher, and Kelce catching touchdowns, the powerhouse athlete, the PE teacher. It perfectly bridged their worlds, didn't it?
It really did. That framing was incredibly smart. It created an immediate, relatable narrative.
And that little extra touch, the cherry on top, as one source called it.
Was song.
Yeah. Taylor's own track, So High School, playing in the background of the post. I mean, talk about living inside your own soundtrack.
Exactly. Very meta.
And the reaction online was just, wow. Numbers like 1.8 million likes in, 20 minutes? Climbed to 17 million by that afternoon. Now it's over 24 million. Someone called it the Super Bowl of Instagram.
That's a good way to put it, scale-wise.
But from your perspective, what's the deeper meaning when a couple does that, literally uses their own art in the announcement? How does that grab our attention beyond just the big numbers?
Well, that Super Bowl of Instagram line captures the volume. But the reason for that explosion is layered. You touched on the soundtrack element. That self-referential nod makes it feel intimate, like an inside joke shared with millions. But there's also this psychological aspect. People crave shared positive moments online. Behavioral science calls it vicarious achievement. We kind of project our own hopes onto their story. Seeing this public win for love feels good.
Ah, okay. Vicarious achievement.
Yeah. And digitally. The timing, the meme-worthy English PE tension hook, the cross-platform buzz it instantly generated beyond just Instagram. It wasn't accidental. This was highly optimized for virality. It tapped into existing fan armies, creating that FOMO, fear of missing out effect. You had to see it, share it. It was less an announcement, more a perfectly executed digital event. A real masterclass in leveraging algorithms, actually.
Wow. Okay, so a lot more strategy behind it than just a happy couple sharing news.
Potentially, yes. Or at least very well advised.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's those shared moments, often the unexpected ones, that really hook us. Which brings us to the origin story, because it's just so charmingly normal.
Right. Not exactly Hollywood.
Not at all. It famously kicked off with Travis, well, kind of whining, as people said on his podcast, New Heights. He was bummed he didn't get to meet Taylor at her concert at Arrowhead Stadium, and he actually wanted to give her a friendship bracelet with his phone number on it.
Classic move.
Totally. Sources called it middle school crush energy, which is just, relatable.
That is.
And Taylor later said it felt like something from an 80s John Hughes movie.
Ah, the say anything comparison.
Exactly. She pictured John Cusack with the boombox, but as she put it,
it's a 6'5" tight end who wins Super Bowls for fun.
Yes, that contrast, right? The slightly awkward, very human beginning mixed with this, larger-than-life reality. It feels special.
It creates a compelling narrative arc.
And speaking of larger than life, you've got Travis, who already has 3 Super Bowl rings.
Mm-hmm. Adding another significant ring.
Exactly. Adding another ring to the collection, as the report said, a big cushion-cut diamond. Plus, Cartier, a Ralph Lauren dress for the proposal moment. It ticks all the fairy tale moment boxes.
It does.
So you have this raw, relatable start and then this very grand, almost perfectly curated finish. Do you think that blend is key, or does it maybe risk feeling a bit too perfect, too constructed?
That's a really insightful question. It touches on that tension between authenticity and performance in celebrity culture.
Hmm.
The John Hughes narrative definitely plugs into those classic, beloved romantic ideas, makes it feel grounded, timeless.
Right.
But we also can't ignore the, let's say, skill involved in how this whole story has been presented by both their teams. It's managed very carefully.
So managed authenticity.
Sort of. The unlikely start the podcast confession gives it that feeling of being real, almost accidental. It lets the public feel like they were in on it from the beginning,
Yeah.
which builds investment.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
But the way that story is then woven together, using modern tools like podcasts and social media, combined with those classic fairy tale proposal elements. It's very strategic. It feels authentic because at the beginning we witnessed, but the telling of it is undoubtedly a highly polished performance.
The story versus the storytelling. Got it.
Precisely.
And the impact of that storytelling was just huge. Wider reactions were fascinating. Sources were comparing it to, like, royal engagements, the most celebrated since William and Kate. Maybe a stretch, but it shows the scale.
It certainly captured global attention,
And some reactions were just unexpected. Did you see the Buffalo Wild Wings thing?
offering to cater the wedding. Yeah, I saw that.
Wild, right. And even Google got involved, adding that confetti effect when you searched her name.
Mm-hmm. Brands jumping on the bandwagon shows the cultural weight.
Totally. And lots of genuine well wishes, too. Brittany Mahomes, Patrick Mahomes' wife, called them 2 of the most genuine people.
Yeah, lots of warmth from their circles.
Even the Chiefs' official account tweeted, "Today is a fairy tale," using Taylor's own lyrics.
Nice touch. Ties it all together.
But here's the part that really jumped out from the sources, the real plot twist.
Okay.
President Trump, someone who, previously posted, "I hate Taylor Swift,"
Right? That was documented.
now comes out saying, "I wish them a lot of luck," publicly.
Huh. That is a notable shift.
It's like bad blood to love story overnight, politically speaking, almost. What do you make of that? How does an event like this manage to cut across those deep divides and get such broad, sometimes surprising reactions?
Well, that Trump comment is really interesting. Less about the politics of it, perhaps, and more about what it signals regarding the sheer reach of this story. It shows this engagement wasn't confined to pop culture fans or sports fans. It broke through.
Yeah.
It reached across those normally very separate spheres. Chiefs Kingdom, Swifties, political commentators. Everyone seemed to notice.
It's unavoidable.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
the brand reactions, Buffalo Wild Wings, Google, they aren't just gimmicks. They signify the massive commercial and cultural capital this couple now wields together. So Trump's comment, viewed impartially, underscores that unifying power. For a moment, it became this piece of news that almost everyone acknowledged, this shared point of maybe simple human interest or goodwill, regardless of usual affiliations. A rare thing these days.
A truly rare thing. It does speak to the power of a compelling love story, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
So what's next? Looking ahead, the timeline our sources map out is pretty clear. Started dating in 2023, engaged roughly 2 years later. It brings to mind that early quote from Taylor about Travis.
The one about him being what she'd been writing about.
Yeah, if this guy isn't crazy, this is basically what I've been writing songs about since I was a teenager. Seems like she really did find her muse.
It certainly seems that way from the outside.
And that potentially has a huge impact on her music, right? Her new album, The Life of a Showgirl, drops October 3rd. It's already being described as more joyful, more upbeat. You have to wonder, is this engagement the catalyst for that shift?
It's a strong possibility.
Yeah.
Artists often draw directly from life.
If she turns this into, like, a double platinum album, Travis could end up being, as one source joked, the most successful muse in pop music history.
Yeah, quite the title.
Though, the flip side, another source quipped, better hope she doesn't write a breakup album.
Oh.
The Chiefs' Kingdom might riot. given how tied he is to that team's identity.
That's funny, but it touches on the high stakes.
It does. So what does it mean when personal life feeds so directly into public art at this scale? What kind of legacy are they building together and individually?
Well, it really underscores that deep connection between personal experience and artistic creation for someone like Taylor Swift. But it amplifies, right?
Hmm.
Her life events aren't just personal, they become part of her brand, strategically channeled into her work, which then connects with millions.
Right.
The idea of a muse here is almost professionalized. Travis isn't just inspiration. He's potentially fueling a whole creative era. And yes, significant revenue. So while sources call it a fairy tale ending, I'd frame it more as a significant new chapter in a very carefully constructed public narrative. Personal joy becomes artistic fuel, becomes a powerful force in shaping cultural and commercial legacy. It's where intimate stories meet peak strategic brand alignment.
Wow, that's a really sharp way to put it. Peak brand alignment. What a fascinating ride this has been today. Unpacking the Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce engagement, it's clearly so much more than just a headline. It's been a real deep dive into modern romance, social media power, cultural crossovers, and how all that captures, well, everyone's imagination. From that first friendship bracelet idea to, global digital confetti, it really is that mix of the relatable and the absolutely spectacular. Thanks so much for joining us for this deep dive.
Been great.
Yeah.
And I think this story really taps into that ongoing fascination we have with love stories that feel both real, somehow, and incredibly grand at the same time. It's kind of a testament to our need for shared positive moments for connection, even if, as we've discussed, some of that connection is very expertly produced.
Well said. So here's something to think about as you go about your day. We're flooded with information, trends change in an instant. Why do some stories, like this one, manage to cut through all that noise and create such a powerful unifying moment across so many different groups? What does that reveal about what we're actually looking for in the stories around us? And maybe how much of it is the genuine fairy tale versus the perfectly crafted narrative? Something to ponder.